Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Let's Keep It Real. We have Tally and Jenna are in person today. I'm staying remote this afternoon, but Tally, go ahead and introduce Jenna to everybody.
Yes, I'm excited that my friend here, Jenna, is from Liberty Lounge, actually, Allie, and that's actually where I met her. And she's done some really, really great things. Liberty Lounge in general has in Fort Worth, and she's going to share some of her stories, being a huge advocate for the LGBTQ community too. Just an amazing person, and I can't wait to hear all her stories today.
Yeah, me too. Jenna, tell us a little bit more about the Liberty Lounge because a lot of people may not know about it.
Well, it's at the corner of Pennsylvania and Jennings. It has been a bar that's been a part of our community for 30 years. When I got the opportunity, when it became vacant after 515 closed, I was stoked because I grew up in that neighborhood. I remember, like, I'm old, and I remember when that was our neighborhood. Like, there were like almost 20 bars from 30 down to Magnolia. And it was important for me to make sure that we still had another place to go. And so that's why it's called Liberty, because after teaching for 20 years, that place represented my freedom. And I was excited. And I just wanted to make it a place where everybody feels safe and welcome and comfortable for our entire community.
And she really
That's
means
awesome.
that, Allie. You walk in there and she basically greets you. She's a whole different type of hostess, walking into a place like you feel like you're coming home kind of thing. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah, that's awesome. Um, Jenna, you've got kind of an interesting growing up story. A little different than Tally and Mai's experience as children. Tell us a little bit about that, and who raised you, and you said you grew up in Fort Worth, so tell us a little bit more.
Well, it goes back to my grandparents. My mom's parents were both queer, and so as long as I can remember, those were just the relationships in my life. And my mom, after she was married for 14 years, because back in the day she wanted to have kids, and it was the late 60s. So you got married. Like now, we have opportunities to live our own truth and create the families. But she didn't have those opportunities. But when she finally divorced from my dad, she came out to me, and I remember my father being very upset. I guess anybody's upset when they divorce, but my
Mhm.
response as a kid was, well, love is love. And that was my only takeaway. I didn't see it as different. And so being raised, having grandparents that were both gay, my mother, my uncle, my cousin, one of my closest friends from high school, I was the first person she came out to. So I was just surrounded, and I was raised within the community. Um, and I feel at home there. I feel loved. I feel accepted. And I just want to return that gift. Like, it's important to me, especially, going through the 90s when we lost so many people. Um, those people were like my uncles, those, not blood related, but, it impacted me. So I wanted to make sure that I continued to give back that love. That sounds so corny, and I don't mean it that way, but I mean,
yeah.
it is my honest, it is honestly my heart that I want to give back what was given to me, because I always felt accepted. I always knew that I had people. And I worry that there are people out there that may feel lost or alone. And I genuinely want to make sure that that we have that space. And I will be very honest. I know I have a bar, but water, soda pop, coffee, that stuff's always free, because sometimes you just need to be around people that you know that are there to listen. Like, I have two kids, and the three things I promised, I was like, you'll be loved, you'll be safe, you'll be heard. And I kind of have modeled my business plan after the same thing, that when people come in, they're loved and they're heard and they're safe. So,
Yeah,
I love that. I don't think that's corny at all. I think that was, beautiful sentiment for, you know, why you're doing what you're doing in our community, and I think that's fantastic.
yeah,
Never apologize for that. It's amazing.
exactly. I mean, even growing up in Fort Worth, Jenna, I mean, especially during the time, were there any challenges? I mean, obviously you had, queer folks around you and parents as well too. What kind of challenges did you have growing up back then?
it wasn't until middle school, and I think all of us, just in the human experience, middle school, and that's what I taught for 20 years, that can suck. Middle school, because it's where you change and you're starting to kind of identify as your own little human. Um, there were quite a few times where I just never really thought, like, I have two moms. But as I started interacting with certain peers, there was one time where I lost all of my friends. I remember, like, I was eating lunch in the library because um, just who my mom loved, all of a sudden, all my friends hated me. I guess they really weren't my friends. So, um,
But you don't think that when you're in middle school.
oh no, I was like,
You
this is
don't.
the crappiest place to eat lunch is the library. I was
Yeah.
like that kid, like, oh, here's my peanut butter and jelly. Oh, someday I'll have a friend. But it made me stronger because then I realized, and that's something like with my mom and stuff, and my grandmother. Oh, she was such a badass. Um, I just came out the other side, just really defined in my voice, and I found those people that I wanted to surround myself with, and I got really lucky. Like,
Was that in high school,
mhm,
basically?
yeah, and I just, you find your people,
Sure.
and from there, it's one of the reasons that I ended up teaching, which was never on the landscape, but I just started helping people with their math in college so they could get their degree. And it turned into me teaching math in middle school. And middle school just really called to me because I remember how, not thinking that every kid's going to have my story, but, just wanting to have that empathy for those kids saying, oh, crap, I'm alone, or I feel different. And then after 10 years of math, I started teaching theater, which gave me such a great opportunity to just really connect with those kids, especially I had a friend of mine that I taught with forever. She's like, you are the land of misfit toys. Is that right? Or the island of misfit toys?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And I said, I love them. My kids found their voices, and that was really, um, it was empowering to me because I was able, like I said, I know I sound I said, I'm like a Hallmark card, but you see in those struggle, like a couple of years ago, one of my kiddos, who's an adult now, reached out to me, and he was like, "You saved my life," and I was like, "What?" And he decided to come out when he was in middle school, and he is still brilliant, but he was one of those kids, like, super smart,
Sure.
and but but he told it like it was, even to adults. So he was in a lot of trouble. And I was always like running down, like, hey, 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 hey. But I remember we had an administrator that said, if you weren't so Nelly, you wouldn't get picked on. And I remember just like this rage
Wow.
coming through me and saying, I'm sorry. Do we need to get channel 4, 5, 8? I was like, because I was like, no, we're not going to blame this. I was like, he's exactly who he needs to be. But at the time, I didn't realize how much he was struggling. Um, and then years later, as an adult, when he came back, he was like, there were times that I considered taking my life. And he was like, but you just show up the next day, like, we're in this, let's do it. And I don't know, like, I believe everybody needs somebody like that.
Yeah.
So, but now I try to do the same thing, but we just have cocktails. You couldn't do that in middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might have wanted to have some cocktails,
Yeah.
but I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jenna, how long has it been since you taught?
2 years.
Okay. And then when you stopped teaching, that's when you opened up the Liberty Lounge.
Yes, I got keys in February of, was it 2020? And then we shut down in March. Is that right?
Yeah.
So like I got keys.
Fun times for everybody.
And yeah, I'm like, it all blends together. But 2 weeks after I got keys to the place, the whole world shut down. So for 6 months, I just hung out there. And so I tried to stay grateful. And that's when like I took down all the beer signs inside and the neon, and there's art. You know, I started doing that and painting outside and planting. And I just tried to share stuff online as I was building it. Because talk about feeling alone. I mean, in 2020, I didn't know if we would ever see each other again.
That's true. That's true.
And so I just kept trying to send out things that I was excited about and share what I was building. And then we opened on Labor Day, September the 7th. And it was amazing. Like there were people that I'd already had conversations with online. And when they came in, they were like, "Hi, Jenna." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yeah." So
they felt connected to you already. Yeah. That's so inspiring. I mean, obviously you've had some trials and tribulations just growing up, and you've also just had the consistent heart to love, and you love your building as much as you love your people because it gives them the home and a safe place and things of that sort that you always wanted, and the place.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's always what I wanted. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's not the library, but you know, you don't have to go alone there. That's the key thing. I mean, you're offering them even Cokes and water and things for free, which most bars, you know, are trying to, you know, do enough just to hang in there.
Well, yeah. It is the worst business plan. I will go on the record and say that. Yeah, we have, because once we open the doors, like when you tab out, you'll get a little token, and we keep 3 local charities on the end of the bar. And when you leave each time, you vote for one of the charities. And at the end of the month, whoever has the most votes, I give part of my paycheck away to. So again, building the world that I want to live in, but not the best business plan. So, but it's, but there's something exciting, you know, because people read what the charities are. It brings awareness to that. And so, I'm always like, you're changing the world one drink at a time. That's how we're doing this. So.
That's amazing. I think that's, such an interesting way to, interact with the community, one, but also inform them of, charities that they may not know about, things they may not know about that are happening, and giving them the ability to say, okay, I'm going to vote for this one this time. And then the next time I come in, I'll put one in for this one.
Oh, I think that. Yes, because they're coming back.
Yes. Yes. Why wouldn't they? This place sounds fantastic. Is this your first time owning and or working in a bar?
Now my husband has been in this business for like 30 years. So I've always been, so as he's opened different places around Fort Worth, I've always, been free labor. And so I've always assisted him that way. And I've been in the service industry because before I had kids, I was a full-time actor. So obviously that means that, I was a waiter and bartender. So just goes with that. But this is the first time that, and he's a dope partner to have, because he said, build what you want, and just like empowered me to create the space I wanted, because I really, I almost killed myself working, quite literally. I was having such severe panic attacks that my heart rate was over 200 beats a minute.
Oh my gosh.
I thought I was having a heart attack. And after 10 hours of testing, this really amazing ER doc, and I don't remember her name because she was dope, but she was like, there's nothing wrong with you that I can keep you here. And she's like, but if I could, I would. Because she said, you are so stressed. You are having so many anxiety attacks. She's like, you're going to make your heart fail. And I took a step back, and it was never the kids. It's, I will openly say this. I'm sure there's people that would argue with me, and I would gladly have the conversation. I just think education is broken. I just spent 20 years like fighting for kids, for it to be engaging and fun. I mean, seriously, it's the time that you go and you're discovering who you're going to be and how you're going to change the world. It should not feel like going to prison, which most kids will tell you that's what it feels like. Like it should be fun. You should be like, oh, this is how I interact with the world. Oh, I didn't know about this, but I was putting so much pressure on myself to do that I realized that I had to take a step back. And I didn't realize until that building came open, like that wasn't even on my radar. And then when it did, I just went, this is what I want to do.
And that's the toughest time to do it. So you are definitely a strong woman to persevere and stick it out and still be able to open the doors, when Labor Day comes around. And so how has it been? Like, so the pandemic's still here, and you're still trying to do business. And have you been successful getting the crowd that you were looking for or expecting? Or
Yeah. I know the area that we're in is such an amazing neighborhood that near Southside, I'm so grateful. Like, there's so many restaurants and bars and these amazing mom and pop shops and a really considerate area. So stuff that we've seen on the news, like right here in Fort Worth, where they would say, oh, these bars are packed or there's not, people aren't wearing their masks or this. I didn't run into that. I didn't feel like mask police. Like people were so respectful of the social distancing. And the hard part is, none of us have gone through like having a business in a pandemic. So everything is like, like I said, my husband, Ryan, he's been doing this for 30 years and he was like recession, whether it's or good times, bad times. He's like, people always drink. And he's like, I've never been through a pandemic. So we've been learning and,
right.
I started creating events that were free to try to bring together our community. And I just created things that I like to do, like our book club and our run club, and just and that's really helped. But it's everybody was super respectful. But yeah, it's business wise. I think anybody you talk to, it's not like it was before. I mean, I'm sure when y'all go out, like it doesn't it feel different?
It does.
Yeah, it does. It does for sure feel different now since the pandemic, for sure.
Yeah, I feel bad. Like I'm totally vaccinated, but like we're this close. Besides my kids and my husband, I'm like, I haven't been this close to somebody in like a year. But you
We're both, yeah,
okay, all right.
We're good. We're good. Yeah, we're good. So, but yeah, I mean, just trying to open up an LGBTQ bar, with Fort Worth. How was that process? I mean, any challenges because it was a gay bar versus, I mean, that your husband would say you shouldn't have ran into that or?
No? Because the building, because that has been part of that gayborhood for, like 30 years. There were people already familiar with it. And for the most part, like and it really helps because my mom was such a huge part of our community. She still is. She's still alive. But that's been the cool part is like running into people that knew my mom and, it's just growing that. But yeah, I think the coolest part has been, I said, we are a gay bar that welcomes everybody. Cause I said, we still have more fight to do. We look 20 years ago, we have as a community, so many more rights than we did before, but there's still more work. There's still, there's more conversations. There's more legislation. There's more things that we need to do. And the only way we do that is, building our community so that our voice is strong, but also getting those allies. So that's a big part where I'm like, everybody is welcome. It's not, and I will say this is, again, a weird thing with me, but it's not a boy bar. It's not a girl bar. It's because I was like, no, we are a community. We're a family. And we all need to be welcome here, like shoulder to shoulder, and wherever you are, that you need to be welcome because we all need each other.
So it is, and I guess our community of listeners here are hearing, that you're a married straight woman running this bar and having all this love for, as an ally for the community as well too, and I think that's why it was so important to really talk about this story. So let's get more into the things that you have done at Liberty Lounge. What have you been involved in? Because I don't want to throw them out there. I want you to be the one to share, because you've done some really fantastic things for the community. Like, think about a place to get vaccinated.
And, yeah.
That's a...
So
she's like, oh yeah, I did do that.
Yeah. Well, so one of our patrons, Mary, works with Texas Health, and she said, hey, we have a bus and we do COVID vaccines. Could we set up? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm totally down with that. And so they came out the first time. They vaccinated over 50 people, which I know seems like a small number, but 76104, which is our zip code, we're the most underserved zip code in Fort Worth. And they have set up different places, and she said we had 6 people this day, or we had 10 this day. So us getting 50 over there, and if people aren't familiar with our neighborhood, it's not like there's a whole bunch of pedestrian traffic. We're just east of the hospital district, and we're not on the main drag of Magnolia. So, but we spread that. She and her team went all through the neighborhood leading up that, and then we did a second time and got over 50 more. So I was super proud of just being able to facilitate that. And she and I are trying to figure out a date, because they also have a free women's health where you can get a mammogram and a pap smear for free. And we're going to set up. They
just bring their bus and do it all.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
that's great.
And
I'm going to pass on those two. Hard pass.
Yeah, but there's definitely a lot of people in the community that can really benefit from something like that. With the pandemic too, people have been typically not in the jobs that they were in before. So health support is always a plus. Yeah. Definitely.
Don't get me
started. And I only say I passed because I've already done that this year. And there's no need to redo it again. So
just
no.
For goals, you don't want to get
those are the 2 worst things ever. And
it's important though that we take care of it. It
is very important, but I'm not doing it 2 times in a year. No.
Right. Well,
that's an annual for a reason. But yes, very important to get those things done for sure. I think that's amazing. I think so few businesses like yours take advantage of pulling a bus up and saying, hey, we're gonna have a blood drive today, we're gonna do free vaccinations, we're gonna do mammograms and pap smears. That so few businesses are not taking advantage of the things they can do for their community, and in their community where their establishment sits. I think that's so important, and that's amazing.
And that doesn't drive in business. I mean, that's
no, but
when people got vaccinated, we weren't trying to say, now come have a shot. You got a shot, take a shot. We did not encourage. It was
that's
really
funny though.
Good little.
It is, but we did not recommend that.
Would have been funny, but no.
But it was important that, because I have this space, help comes out. They've been out to our place 3 or 4 times to do free HIV testing out in our parking lot. Again, it's more important that I have the space and I can offer that. Mm-hmm. It may not equate itself to somebody buying something from me, but I know I'm helping somebody. And at the end of the day, money comes and goes. But if I can, if you can make the world better, if you can do something for someone else, that's all you leave behind. So, again, worst business plan.
I love her.
And the drinks are really cheap too. For all of you people that are listening, the drinks are really good and cheap. Mm-hmm. Good and cheap. No, I'm just kidding.
That's amazing.
Oh my goodness.
So what are the things that y'all have going on? You talked about the 5Ks. What does that look like?
Well, we
Or
do.
is it a 5K
No,
or
no, no. Oh,
like a 1K or
so I have
walking the block? What are we doing?
so we have every Tuesday at 6, we have a run walk club, and I have measured out. It's exactly 1 mile. It's mostly flat. You're not crossing any major intersection. Well lit, safe, because as we head into winter, we start losing daylight sooner and sooner. But I have people that come out that walk or run, and they'll do 1 to 4 miles, just depending on what they're doing. But it's just a nice way to, again, I used to be a huge runner. And then I got old and I hurt myself. So I'm working my way back to those marathons again. Just getting old sucks. I hurt myself sleeping. It's like you wake up and you're like, how did I do that? But it's nice just to, it creates an opportunity where you meet others that have that similar interest.
Yeah.
And we have, like, at the end of this month. Oh no, this Sunday. It's this Sunday. But at the end of each month, we do what's called the Liberty Lowdown Art and Craft Showcase. And one of my good friends is an artist. And Jack was, he's always doing this pop-up or that. And just in one of the times we were talking, I didn't realize that artists were charged to set up their booth,
Yeah.
or they have to give a proceed of how much they sell. So I got with him, and he has been gracious enough to curate it. He collects, he finds the people that set up. But I don't ask for anything other than for them to bring their art, and we take half of our parking lot, and they set up their tents, and it's just such a groovy way to celebrate those artists, because everybody loves art.
Yeah.
They love their music. They love this. But they're like, oh, I got to pay for that. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool. This is somebody sharing their gift. This is their talent. This is
right.
So, but yeah, so every artist that you see there, we don't ask anything from them. Plus it's always on Sunday, and it's all day happy hour. And it's the only day we do specials on all local craft beers, because I try to keep as much of the money in the hood as possible.
Love it.
Local stuff.
Yeah.
So,
that's amazing.
We have a book club.
Yeah. What kind of books do y'all rotate through, or?
So the people that joined with me this year, they picked, like, each of the members picked a different book for each month. But we're almost done with the year. So as we welcome new people in, we'll start selecting books for next year. And it's always the second Saturday at 4. And that's been really groovy. Like, I love to read, and it's just so much fun having that conversation. But again, there's cocktails involved, so that makes it even more special.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Yes, the bar is really cool. The people there are cool. You'll have a variety. To your point, it's not just men, it's not just women. There's a variety of people who come in, and you see them rotate throughout the day too. I've noticed that as well. I've been there just a few times myself, and had the pleasure of just really taking the ambiance of how you painted the place up, and all the things I love all the things you have outside. I think they're very cool. It feels like a very warm backyard, cool patio scenery area type of thing.
But, it's dope back there. Like, I tried to make it whimsical, because I'm like, life is stressful enough. So that back patio, I tried to create that just a bit of whimsy, and just with all the plants and the colors, just to, like, hey, just take a breath, just enjoy this moment. Just, you can go back out to the world in a little bit, and deal with it. And, like, inside, like, there's a free library. I keep books. People drop them off. You can take them if there's a book that you want to read. It's a free library, So there's games, if you just want to. There's a whole chest full of different board games and card games, and I don't know. I'm such a mom. I'm like,
that sounds like such a fun place to hang out, though. There's something for everybody, and it sounds like a really chill environment to, spend a Saturday afternoon on, and chill out and meet some people and play a game, read a book, have a cocktail.
And, like, Monday we're having drag queen bingo, so Lady Monroe hosts that, so it's free. So you come play bingo with Lady Monroe, who's a hootenanny. And like if you win, you get a little free cocktail card, so you get a free cocktail. But also, again, here's the mom or teacher in me. So I keep this big basket of prizes because who doesn't like winning stuff? But it's like ridiculous stuff. It's like a pen that says "task for a mermaid." So every time you click the pen, it shows you a different but people argue. They're like, no, I wanted that mermaid pen, or I wanted that rainbow bandana. And
I would be like, where do you find this stuff?
I cannot tell y'all because it is secret.
That's awesome.
It's my treasure trove. But yeah, but that's another fun way where you just get to laugh, and what a great way. I mean, it when you have those activities, it makes it a bit easier to start a conversation with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's important is building those relationships and just letting each other know that we're here.
Yep.
That's my favorite is like one of Brandon was in last night and he said, I popped in yesterday. He said, my boyfriend had to work all day. And he said, I was off and I came in. He's like, I was by myself. And he said, there was another gentleman sitting right here. And we just started talking while the bartender was making my drink. And then there was another gentleman at the end of the bar. And all three of us started talking. And then we went outside to the patio. And he was like, we just sat there for like 2 hours visiting. He's like, none of us knew each other. By the end of this, he said there were like 8 of us. And he was like, everybody came in on their own. But all of a sudden, he was like, this is my favorite is that, and that's what I've tried to build. Like when I'm there, like I'm always like, hi, I'm grateful that you're here. But I try to welcome people in so that they get to know each other. And now, even when I'm not there,
they're doing it.
And that's, like that's important to me, that when they see each other, they feel comfortable to,
interact.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It is. Fern Connections, the LGBTQ matchmaker, Daphne, if you remember Allie, we've had a few events there at Liberty Lounge and had the pleasure of, doing activities, mostly inside and things like that. But like I said, you can just feel, Jenna's presence as soon as you walk in. You feel her energy. She's constantly rotating through all the customers and making every person feel very welcome. So it's really just a heartwarming, hey, I'm home, like when you walk in there and her ambiance complements that. So,
but I'll leave people alone. I don't want people watching this going, Lord,
I just want to have a beer in peace.
Yeah. You're like, I'm done. I just had my boobs smushed on a mammogram. Leave me alone.
Exactly. Worst thing ever.
But I do try to like just let people know that I'm glad that they came in.
Yeah.
I love it. In the bathrooms, I leave not like little notes like a serial killer.
I was about to say, like, what are we talking about here?
Go in and you're like, where did this come? No. But we have like chalkboards that like, so like in the stalls, like when you sit down, it's like eye level. And because again, sometimes that's like your thinking time, right? And so I put, and we're just being way too honest with that. But I put the chalkboards up and I just leave little notes because I don't know if somebody has said something kind to you today. So I want to make sure at least you read something that's kind, again, it's, if we don't take care of each other, that's what I worry about. Like, going back to what you said earlier, like, why was it so important? Why was that building? Mm-hmm. And it's because the way I was raised, it was teaching kids that feel not just, my kiddos who identified as gay or anything, but there's just such a piece that when you come in there, I want to make sure that this other human being knows that I'm glad that they're there.
Yeah. And you genuinely mean that when you say that. Like that's the part that I feel that energy, walking in there. And you seem to know everybody, a lot of people's names. And I'm like, I barely remember your names,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nobody else is going to get why we laughed on that, but
no, but it's okay. Inside jokes are always good.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just so personalized there, and just the times that I've been there, I've constantly told people about your place and as a place definitely to go, even to take a date to. I think it would just
It is very romantic.
it has some opportunity for that date,
Yes,
as well.
we've got
So
the little LED candles and the lighting's always, ooh, and everybody looks good in low lighting. I mean, it's not dark, like, because we all look brilliant when it's dark, but yeah.
That's
well,
hilarious.
are
What
y'all? Go ahead, Ellie.
sorry, I was just gonna ask, like, what are you like, are you guys open 7 days a week? Like, what's like the best time? Like, I know you said you have like Monday night events, like Sundays, like what's the best time for somebody to
I can tell
go to
people
like
that.
experience? To
Well, you
what?
have to know the secret password. No, I'm just kidding. Um, so Monday through Friday, we open at 2 and we close at 2 a.m. And then Saturday and Sunday, we're open from noon until 2 a.m. So we're there 7 days a week. We're going to be open Thanksgiving. We're going to open at 4. Uh, I don't, I don't know y'all's experience, but I remember when I was younger, actually having a Thanksgiving at one of the bars that's no longer there, just because, whether you just couldn't get home or your family, didn't welcome you back in. So I'll be making double food. And somebody's like, you should have a potluck. And I was like, bitch, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
You
I'm
can
sorry.
say whatever the fuck you want.
Oh, okay. I'm like a sailor. But I was like, we just had COVID, and I was like, we ain't doing a potluck because somebody's gonna be like, this came from so and so's house, and I'm like, so I will make sure everything's to standard, but I'm gonna bring up some food that day because that morning, this is really exciting. So a friend of mine, Sterling, came to me with this idea, and he has got some other companies involved. So on Thanksgiving morning, did I already talk about this?
No.
Oh, okay. Sometimes, I have really bad ADHD. I'm like, oh, shiny. Allie's like, why did we get Jenna to do this?
No, this is fantastic. I love it.
It's like a giant Muppet over here. I'm like,
Thanksgiving.
Thank you. So from 10 to 1, the bar is not open. The bar is not open. Let me repeat. The bar is not open
On Thanksgiving.
On Thanksgiving until 4 p.m. But from 10 to 1, Sterling created this event that we're hosting. And if I get the names of the companies, I apologize. I should have brought my notes. But I believe one's called Cleanup, and they bring a truck and it has showers in it. And so that your homeless population can take a shower. They're providing clothes. I believe it's KP Staffing. They're going to provide a Thanksgiving luncheon, but also they're going to have people there that are going to do on-site interviews for jobs. We have another organization that's going to have free socks, free underwear, like toiletries. And Mary, that I told you about, that helped bring the COVID vaccines, she's going to be there with flu vaccines for people, for flu shots. And and the reason we're not opening the bar is that with some of our population, one of the reasons some of them may be without a home is because they may be addicts. And so we're doing it in our parking lot and in our back patio, but the bar itself will not be open because we don't want to offer, we don't want to trigger anybody.
Right.
We want, so that goes back to that place of, I have this space, I want to use it to help others. So, and we're doing it early. So that, because a lot of other organizations do stuff on Thanksgiving, but it's usually later in the day. So this way, and we're just a couple of blocks from one of the largest campsites for our homeless population. So I am super stoked. Again, this is 100% Sterling. He just said, "Hey, can I use your space?" And I was like, "Absolutely, of course." So, and then when we open at 4, I was just going to bring up some food and stuff, and that way, if some people need to get away from their family and need a cocktail, or if they just haven't had that opportunity, that we're gonna do that community Thanksgiving. So
That's amazing. I love to hear that. I love to hear everything you're doing for the community so selflessly. I think that's just so incredible.
No kidding. You're an amazing person, and just hearing all this, I know Halloween is around the corner.
That's a national gay holiday, y'all.
Yeah, if you didn't know, then you heard it
Mhm.
here first.
I have been lost in Dallas on some of those nights. I don't know where I ended up or how I got there, but I've had some good times. And I've been in New Orleans for, yes.
Dang.
But yeah, we're Fern Connections is doing a party with us on Saturday the 30th. So we're gonna have a costume contest, and we're doing some drink specials for Saturday night. But it's a singles event. So, I guess you're gonna wear a costume, do something that shows off your assets.
Yeah.
See, that's the trouble. I don't wear costumes like that. I usually go for
Just do as yourself. Look, you have your own show.
Oh, she always wears a costume. She just
I'm all about the costume.
That's all. Yeah. Are you going to be able to share your costume for
No.
20? Oh man, she
Nope.
never reveals it until she wears it. So yeah.
Nope. Sorry.
She.
That's not fair.
Well, tell everybody what you dressed up like last year. Because
last year.
So
last year. I'm sorry, I got a little frog in my throat. Hold on.
I told you, you have to chew those frogs first.
I was gonna make a comment, but I'm gonna skip right over that. Last year I went as David Rose from Schitt's Creek. So I had the little lightning bolt sweatshirt, the glasses, the rings, the skirt over the jeans, and the high top Converse. Dyed my hair black.
It was so
That's
on
awesome.
point. It was so on point.
It was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't reveal my costume until I wear it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, get into the house and
it's always because it's like completely ridiculous, and like I like the wow factor and oh my god, I can't believe you're wearing that.
Well, I can't wait to see the pictures this year of what you're wearing.
Yeah.
Come by Liberty. We're having a contest.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll wear it next weekend. Who knows? We'll see.
That's cool.
Oh, that is 2 weeks away. Oh my Lord.
It's not. Yeah, not today, but next Saturday.
Yeah, it's a week away.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, time's flying by. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Love it.
I'm so grateful. Thank y'all for this. Thank y'all.
Yes.
Thank you. I mean, seriously, like I had no idea that you were doing so much for the community of, where you sit, and it's incredible, and not enough places do that, and I think, kudos to you. Seriously.
Exactly. I'm glad we were able to provide a platform for you to share this story. There's a lot of people that do feel alone out there, and the more stories we share and resources we share, they can connect and find their way. Mm-hmm. And the things that are important to you are also important to myself and Allie, of finding ways to help others too. And that's why we built this empire in the first place, to get the word out as far as we can, to let them know there are people like you that exist. There's just so many ways that we use social media, that we use our own pockets, to make life a little bit easier than we had it in the past. So,
and it's not selfless. I will be completely honest. It is very selfish on my part, because I get so much, I'm also a widow. My husband unexpectedly died the day after he turned 41. And so after that, it made me realize how important it was to have people around you, to be able to ask for help, to be able to laugh with people and to enjoy. And so it seems like I do it, but it is very selfish in the sense that I am grateful, and I'm so lucky. The people I meet that share their stories, that share their time, that share their money. But it makes me, I feel like it makes me a better human. Like they soften edges of me. They, there's stories that I hear that make me change my perspective, that make me want to help this way, or make me, but it helps me grow,
Right.
And so it's selfish, because I love I love these humans, and I'm glad they're in my life. So
No.
Well, Jenna, I mean, thank you for
thank
being
you.
here. Seriously, thank you for taking the time. We know you work 7 days out of the week, and we know business is already up and going for today, or coming
Yeah.
to be. So
I'm
it
going
is,
back there now.
yeah,
So
yeah.
We love
Um,
it. Seriously, thank you so much for everything that you're doing, and I look forward to coming up to the bar and seeing what you got going on over there, and maybe joining in on that costume contest next weekend. Who knows?
she'll be bringing it. She
yeah.
always does.
And
Well,
if they want to follow us, we're on Instagram and the old people Facebook or whatever it's going to change its name to. And we're on Twitter, but I always get confused on that. But we're on there. But anyway, and I'm going to start a TikTok. So because the young ones and the 20 somethings, they're like, I get all my businesses off of TikTok, and I was like, what is this Tick and Talk? But if they're ever like, what's
I'm with
going
you.
on? What are the events? Like Instagram and all those ways they can
Go to Facebook.
Liberty Lounge FW. So
Very nice. Very
Love
nice.
it. We'll post that out for everybody to find a little bit easier. Jenna, seriously, such a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. We really appreciate you and everything that you're doing for the community. Again, super incredible work, and keep it up.
Yeah, keep it real, Jenna.
I will.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Keep it real.
Thank